This way they'll believe it's beer.
It's the top strap, dude. Look at that head.
Cheers, everyone.
Okay, now I'm the only one that does it. Cool, that's fine.
Everyone else think about that in their head?
I got fucking flamed last time for not doing it, but whatever.
Okay, hi everyone. Welcome to the Cheers Alita talk, where we're going to be talking about the new movie Alita that came out 2 weeks ago.
No, it came
No,
out
it
like
came out
on Wednesday.
3
Yeah,
days
Wednesday.
ago.
Oh, it came out on Wednesday.
We're recording this on Saturday.
Okay,
Yeah.
so we just
16th.
saw it together on Saturday.
Friday.
Or Friday.
We saw it on Friday. We're recording on Saturday. Came out
on
Wednesday.
Comes out Wednesday. Okay. What were your thoughts on it, Sydney?
Not bad, but probably not. So, okay. Good.
Yeah.
Yeah, for sure.
Also, not necessarily what I would have wanted in an ideal world.
Okay.
Yeah, this.
Yeah.
So
alright.
for background,
Yeah, I was gonna say. So,
I haven't watched read the manga.
Yeah, we're perfectly
Johnny
split.
didn't read the
Yeah.
manga.
Or
Bruno
watch
and
anime?
Sydney. There was
Yeah.
no anime.
Yeah,
Yeah, there
Was there?
There
There
was
was
an
an
OVA.
OVA.
So me and Johnny have seen nothing
1993.
before,
Mhm.
and Sydney and Bruno read the mangas
Yeah.
and perhaps watched the OVA.
I've seen the
Sydney
OVA.
watched the
Sid
OVA.
watched the OVA. I've
By
only
the way,
read the first part of it.
I'm Gabe.
Oh yeah, I'm Johnny.
I'm Bruno.
I'm Sid.
You should know this shit by now, you know?
Gotta do
Yeah,
it every
3
time
videos
now.
in.
It's-
Yeah, I mean, 4.
Is it 4?
Mm-hmm.
Oh yeah, golf was 3
Well, this would be the 5th.
No,
Yeah.
this would be the 4th.
No,
fifth.
3
3
golf
parts
it,
of golf and then.
and then
You're right,
part 4
you're
of
right.
this one.
Anyways.
1, 2, 3.
Yeah.
Yeah. So we're split between who knows and who doesn't know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Which is actually pretty good. 'Cause
Yeah.
then we got
So
the
going in
teams
blind,
and
it was. I liked it
Yeah.
for the most part.
Yeah. What did you like about it?
Okay, so I really liked the premise and the idea of it. I like that it was set in this futuristic, but not complete. Like it seems like it's a shithole, like Astro Boy type shit.
Yeah.
And I
Yeah.
really liked that.
They
'cause
had an Astro Boy
I,
vibe.
yeah, I even liked the animated Astro Boy that came out in 2013, 10.
Yeah, I know the one you're talking about. There's a reason nobody knows when it came up. But
Yeah. But I like that one too, even though it was
okay,
like,
that's cool.
eh,
That's cool.
but
That's cool.
yeah,
So, in the movie, everything's also like way nicer than
Yeah,
the manga.
that's
The-
exactly
It's
what I
absolutely
thought.
like the PG-13 rating
Yeah.
is absolutely like bringing it down.
That's another thing we didn't talk about.
Few
Yeah.
notches.
It's
it was
No,
PG 13.
the manga's
Yeah.
the manga's fucking.
that's why
bloody.
they said fuck one time.
Yeah, they said fuck, and I was like,
Yeah.
what the
one
hell?
time.
She said it, right?
Yeah,
Yeah.
you
She
get
said
one
fuck.
fuck.
You
yeah,
get one fuck to
PG-13.
be for your scene. Actually, I think it's 2.
Wait, what did she
Well,
say
it's
exactly?
reviewed case by case.
What's
She
She's
was like,
the-
fuck you or whatever.
No,
It's
the
like,
guy was like,
It was fuck your mercy.
yeah,
Yeah.
he's like,
Oh
I'll give
yeah,
mercy,
when Garesh was fighting her, or whatever.
yeah,
Before she got ripped to shreds.
yeah.
yeah,
I'm gonna put a spoilers on the title of this video.
Oh,
Yeah,
okay.
obviously.
Spoiler warning.
yeah. Well, we're kind of discussing movies, so I
Yeah.
guess.
Oh,
Yeah,
fucking god, that triggers me. Yeah. So it felt it felt badass in some parts, like when she's kicking ass in the bar and fighting all the dudes and just like fucking like like into the tables
Yeah,
and
that
shit.
Fight
Cool
scene
as
was
hell.
sick.
And then it goes like off into like a Disney vibe
Well,
for like a couple minutes, and then I'm like, like
Staying up-
it could be dark, and then it goes way too like goody two shoes, and then goes back to dark.
well, I think that's the whole point of her character.
Going back to that fight
Well,
scene, I
so-
think specifically that fight scene, like the beginning was like kind of like it started off like really cool, right? And like she kind of walked in is a little cringy what she did with the whole speech.
Yeah,
Mhm.
But
yeah,
then
that
once
was
they
pretty
started
good.
fighting, it was cool where she took
Yeah.
him out like one-on-one, and then she fought a couple more people. But then it kind of got more like montagey with the whole
like a
bar
bar fight.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mhm.
So it emphasized the bar fight, but I thought just seeing her fight alone was a lot cooler
Yeah.
to see.
Yeah.
Well,
Yeah.
like, so the cool thing is that like having the fights like be so like CGI like heavy,
Yeah.
they just kind of like naturally get a very similar choreography that to what like anime action fights are.
Yeah,
anyway.
that's a
Mhm.
thing that's really
Mhm.
cool. Because that's the problem with a lot of the anime movies they make. They like the cool thing about anime is it's spectacle. It's animated, so you can literally do whatever the hell you want.
Yeah.
You can animate it.
Yeah.
But like live action movies have the issue where you can't really do that unless you spend millions of dollars. So a lot of time movies will try to like do their own spin on anime stuff, but they don't carry over that like the choreography or the spectacle. Like imagine doing, well they did, but imagine they did an actual good Dragon Ball movie,
Mhm.
Like a Kamehameha in real life, it looks dumb. It looks like a
Yeah, it
dude
looks
going like,
stupid.
ugh. But like it looks dope as hell when you're animated. Right?
In anime, everything's kind of in that same
Yeah,
vibe. So
yeah.
when they do it in that vibe, it looks.
But like
really
this
cool.
one was
This
really
blended
cool
it.
because it was like it blended it really well. But
Which part?
doing the fights being so CGI, just in general. the movie.
No, yeah, the movie.
Yeah.
like-
okay.
Being so CGI dependent, usually bad, but in this case, yeah, like I said,
Yeah.
really, really good.
Yeah.
Also, the CGI was really, really good too in general.
Yeah.
Did
definitely.
they
I saw some
have? Did
complaints,
they
but-
have like I know it was CGI, but was there like a
It was
dummy?
absolutely like mocap.
No, yeah, it was
Mocap,
mocap.
yeah.
You
Okay.
can. They put up a behind the scenes mocap. Thing
Yeah.
of it, if we can watch
Very
that
cool
later.
stuff, actually. Yeah. Character design, I thought was really, really cool.
Did it follow along with
Yeah, it
the
did.
like
Yeah.
everything
Yeah,
to a
it did.
T?
Not to a T.
Not to a
to
T,
a
but
T.
pretty
So-
well.
But they made it look good in live action.
Yeah,
Because
so a
if
lot
they did it to a
less-
T, it'd be weird.
a lot less strange
Yeah.
designs.
Actually, I did mention this
They
because
normalized a lot of them.
we were talking about this, yeah, because a lot of the cyborgs in the manga, they're like
Yeah.
weird. They're fucking like boxes with
Well,
3 heads and
yeah.
shit.
Mhm.
In
The
this one,
water
they're
part
most
looks.
of the time
The
they're-
water part looked really good. Like
So-
just.
Yeah.
Yeah. So the movie setting is just kind of like a science fiction dystopia,
Yeah.
whereas in the manga it's like actually like a cyber like hellscape where like
yeah.
everything
That's a good
sucks
point.
forever.
Yeah.
Play James Cameron, right?
Yeah.
Mhm.
James
He's
Cameron.
so good. Like he's such a good director.
For this movie, well, he's been trying to make this movie for like 20 years.
Yeah.
He saw the OVA, said this is dope. I want to make a movie.
Mhm.
He's got like, and he talked to like 5 different directors, and like he made. I'm not exaggerating, like 1,000 pages of notes
Mhm.
for the movie, and he gave it to each one
Now-
to like.
Is
Yeah,
that
that's how they did all of it.
true that he saw the OVA was what
I'm pretty sure
Yeah.
that's what, yeah.
Because
I think so. at
it's
least.
it's very heavily adapted from the OVA and not the beginning.
Yeah,
of the
I
manga.
think he saw the OVA. I'm not sure. I read about it somewhere. I
Yeah.
don't remember if it was which one or the other, but I remember like this is like his baby project, his pet
Yeah.
project he's tried for a long time to
'Cause-
get through.
It looks weird without the eyes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It looks really weird without the Alita eyes.
Yeah.
Mhm.
There were some cases where like when there were certain expressions looked weird with the eyes.
I think
But a lot
I
of time
think
it
they
looks
did a
decent.
good job of conveying like a special look without overdoing it.
Yeah,
Mhm.
I think
Yeah.
it was a very well done like
they did tone it down from the original trailer, so because the original
Yeah.
trailers, her eyes are bugs.
really.
Yeah, they were like way bigger than this.
Yeah, well, a lot of the designs were weird in the original trailer, right?
Yeah, yeah.
Zepan's design got changed
Did
too
it?
from the original trailer.
I don't remember.
Yeah.
I don't remember the original trailer design for Saban.
So this is the original trailer.
I think so.
Maybe. This came out July 23rd.
I think that would be the original. Yeah, not sure honestly.
Yeah,
No,
but
they look the same.
No, that's the movie scene. I don't
I'll
know.
look it through it. and you
Yeah,
guys keep
we
going.
can find it, but
so going in, concerns I had were if it was going to be like heavily rewritten,
hmm
that being the main one, and then like that it was going to look
I love that.
strange or just it wasn't going to be choreographed well or stuff like that. But the main concern is that I didn't want it to be heavily rewritten because I don't think it really has to be heavily rewritten to be adapted, and I just like the way that it was written.
Yeah,
Right.
Stuff like, well, so
yeah. We're just getting a lot of manga stuff, but
yeah,
I know
Well-
where you're getting at though.
Jesus.
Is that her?
That's
Yeah.
her. It actually because
I can't
the
find
artist, you can absolutely see how the artist evolved when he first started drawing the manga. Alita's hair was like fucking very 80s.
When did
And,
the manga come out?
80.
Johnny, look up
I think.
look up
Yeah,
pictures
late
of her originally.
Yeah, we can compare like yeah. I like that's another thing. Like yeah, I think they got the overall look of the manga pretty good.
Yeah.
The city was very different. The city they
Yeah.
kind of went for an old European city with a lot of like cyber shit thrown
Yeah,
on
In
top
the
of it.
movie?
In the movie, yeah. In the
Yeah.
original, it's
I didn't
literally.
really get
I
old
felt like
European vibe.
San Francisco, like
Yeah, I got a very American city
You
vibe.
think so?
I got.
I meant the buildings.
I meant like
Like the
Same
design, the
thing.
architecture of the buildings.
Same thing.
Let's see if
It
we
re-
can find a shot of
it
it.
reminded me of like a mixture of. I see the European, like I felt like Paris almost sometimes, but then I
Yeah.
felt like San Francisco, and then I felt like Big Hero 6 Tokyo.
San
San,
Francisco.
China,
yeah,
yeah.
San Fran Tokyo. That's
They
kind of
don't
like the
talk to
vibe
me
that I
in San
got.
Fran Tokyo. Well, I
Yeah.
don't know why they didn't have it in Tokyo, but whatever. But what I'm saying is, like, the original city, they literally grabbed the garbage. Like, there were no buildings. The buildings were made out of the garbage, pretty much, and shit.
Mhm.
It was very much more like, cyberpunky.
It almost has like a China vibe to it, like a very heavy
Yeah, it's-
metropolitan.
so-
I see what. Yeah, I
It's
see what
very
you're saying.
clearly like a classic cyber dystopia,
Yeah.
as opposed
That picture looks like European with that like kind
Yeah.
of corner
yeah,
building
like
in the center.
England or whatever.
Yeah,
But I did love the design of it overall. That's the original.
that's her, or
That's
that's
the
it.
city.
That's the city, which I think they got.
Yeah, it looks
uh,
less developed underneath for sure.
By
in
the
that
way,
image.
I always thought it pronounced Zalem.
It is pronounced Salem.
They said
Yeah,
Zalem.
they said Zalem all the time.
Well, I mean, it's
I know.
based
I know.
on Salem, so.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, I guess if you were to like transliterate the Japanese, it would
probably
be Zalem
Zalem,
because
yeah.
Zay.
Oh,
isn't-
I heard you when
would be-
Nova went on screen. I heard you guys laughing.
Nova
But-
looks
Oh,
stupid.
Nova's
His design is exactly the same as the manga.
That's not true. He's much older in the manga. He has
Yeah.
very visible.
Oh,
with
Dr.
eyes.
Robotnik?
Yeah, dude.
Yeah.
Dude, the first time
Dusty,
you see
look up
him,
Dusty Nova.
it's honestly like, oh, fucking, buddy, Dusty.
Dusty.
Oh, Dusty.
Dusty,
Oh,
yeah.
Thank you, Bruno.
Learn to fucking
Dr.
listen.
fucking
You
Robotnik
said
over
Dusty.
here.
Yeah. His name is Dusty Nova.
Yeah, it looks very. Oh my god,
Yeah.
it does look very similar.
Yeah.
I thought it was really cool.
This is
Another point
spoilers, I'm
that
not
Sydney
looking
and
at
I
this.
kind of... Oh, yeah, this is a big time spoiler,
Well-
by the way. Let's not...
I mean, whatever.
That's
What?
No,
Everyone-
those are big
big
time
time
spoilers for the
spoilers.
manga, not for
Big
the-
spoilers for the movie and the manga.
Yeah. They included him at all. That's kind of weird.
Yeah. So they did. So they certainly did things out of order,
Yeah.
and
Like what?
so
the motorball stuff isn't introduced
Yeah,
in the manga
well,
until after
I
Hugo
don't-
stuff.
like
So
Motorball
Hugo
stuff
was
doesn't
already
matter.
trying.
But
Nothing-
there's some stuff that was like introduced
Yeah.
early that was okay,
Nothing.
and some of it that was kind of weird, like Dusty Nova or
Yeah.
the whole Mars stuff.
Yeah. So nothing to do with Motorball in the manga, like even really made it into the movie as instead of like other than just the concept of Motorball.
Even the concept wasn't very well conveyed.
Yeah, it was just like
it just
it
looked
It
cool.
was
Yeah,
just like,
it-
if you're the champion of
felt very
motorball,
much
you
like
get to
fan
go.
service.
Yeah.
It felt very much like
I thought it-
hey,
it
you know
looked-
Motorball? This is pretty cool.
Yeah.
It looked very cool, but
Yeah.
like in terms of the premise of the game, like
Yeah.
from what I understood from the beginning, the first scene where it's just like she plays in the street, it's like okay,
Yeah.
so the ball launches, you roll around, then eventually someone tries to put it in the
Yeah,
hoop, right?
that's not how
And then
Motorball works. It's
later-
not,
Yeah,
like scoring
they
like that.
changed that. Up.
when she did it in the first thing, right?
Yeah, it's
When she,
much
sorry,
more
when
like a
she
race.
first entered, it was like basically just like, and this might have been part of the where they're trying to kill her,
Yeah.
but like it's
Well-
very much just like they weren't really trying to score. Like the ball was there,
Yeah,
but
so
like
in- in-
wasn't the net that they
Yeah,
were playing
Yeah,
with.
so in
before.
the manga, Motorball is kind of just like a death race.
Yeah,
Mhm.
you literally just have to cross the
Yeah.
finish line with a
That's
ball.
the vibe I got when
Yeah.
they showed it without her
yeah,
in it.
them
Yeah.
playing
in the
in the
movie.
streets was weird, and I was like, oh, I guess they're changing Motorball, but then they didn't change it when they showed like the professional.
Yeah, when they showed like the trailer or whatever in the street of it showing like or premiering like
Yeah,
here's
yeah,
the motorball,
like,
like,
when
I guess-
it was
seen,
very much
right?
like people just fucking
I
clobbering
guess the
each
weird
other.
thing with
Yeah.
Motorball is that they skipped her right to the end of the league.
Yeah.
Yeah, that
Well,
was
that was a time skip. I can.
I
There
think
were-
Yeah.
yeah, they said there was like
Well,
6
the-
months or something. Or
Yeah.
no,
months or
2
something.
years or something.
2 years.
Was it?
something like
Yeah,
that,
2 years.
Oh.
So in the manga, the way that she like actually gets to go into the first league was literally when she met the champion like outside of Motorball.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
wanted to see him more. Like, it was like, oh, I'm the champion, and then it was just
He's
like,
actually a cool character.
yeah, he
That
seemed
Shigan's
cool.
Really cool. He's super
But then
important, too.
they just said, oh, you get to see him once.
even though he's pretty brief, he has.
Is he just
like
like
what's
He
the
does have a big
champion?
impact though.
Who
Yeah.
was the champion?
Yeah, Shugon. He's the guy with like they
They
were
show
working
him
on his
very
head.
briefly.
The guy with the curly hair.
They just kind of say
Oh,
this
yeah.
guy exists.
Did,
Yeah.
what happened to
Oh,
him?
that was that actor.
So-
that,
Is there-
he's a bigger actor.
Yeah.
Right? They showed him he had like gold plating or something.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, yeah. I don't know what actor it was.
So
but
this was weird.
He-
So a few parts feel like they're setting up a sequel, right?
Oh,
Search
yeah,
up search up
absolutely.
the cast of Suicide Squad.
Yeah, he's in that. He's Boomerang Man or
yeah.
whatever.
Boomerang Man, Suicide Squad is the
Yeah.
worst characters. Yeah.
Cast.
I really don't know any of these people.
So-
Like, well, except Will Smith.
Jay Courtney.
That was him.
Yeah, that was him in the Alita.
Yeah.
I don't know any of these except the first two. I know Jared Leto kind of is bigger, but I can't remember any
Is he there?
movie he was in.
No.
He's in the movie though. He's
Oh
the
yeah, he was like a
champion or whatever.
5-second scene. Like they literally just said, "This is the guy."
Yeah.
Oh, he looks
Um,
dope. Is
but
that
they-
him?
No, that's
Oh.
someone completely else. Okay, now that gets to the
Oh.
Mars stuff. That's another good point that Sydney
Oh.
was saying. Like they move stuff,
Yeah.
they put stuff into the first part that shouldn't be. The Mars stuff is not even brought up until way later in the
Yeah, and like in the manga, all the citizens of the scrapyard kind of like don't know anything.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah, because it seemed like everybody knew at least like the whole war thing.
There's almost like a very clear sense of like information suppression.
It's more
in
like,
the scrapyard.
Dr. Ito knew, and
Yeah.
then like even like the
Because
guy,
he was there before.
the guy
right?
who had the sword, right? That was
Yeah.
That was an Erm sword.
The
But
man?
yeah,
Yeah.
but he didn't know. He just said it's a really good sword.
Yeah.
But he never said specifically this
He
is an
did
Erm
say-
sword.
He did.
No, he
exactly
said it
say
was
He
an
said this
Erm
is Erm technology.
Really?
Yeah. Which is a thing because like they don't really like they don't mention Mars at all. Like people didn't
Yeah.
know about Mars in the manga at all.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So then the fact that everybody knew about like the
in the manga,
technology,
it's
the
like kind
war.
of like a big reveal when you find out that it goes all the way to space.
Yeah,
What
Like,
goes
it's-
all the way to space?
like the
Zalem?
sword.
Yeah.
Just in general.
Or
the
like
sword.
even that space is like a
A relevant thing.
player
Yeah.
in the story.
Yeah,
Uh-huh.
because it's very much like the beginning is very much like Zalem versus the scrapyard,
Yeah.
and then
But that doesn't even feel like that in the movie.
what do you
Well,
mean?
Like it doesn't feel like it's Zalem versus the Scrapyard.
Yeah, so
Zalem
that's
doesn't. Zalem
weird.
doesn't even
Yeah.
have like
They-
a portion in the movie.
They
it
almost
feels
like replace Zalem just with Destinova.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
They
pretty
almost
much.
like just compress.
Which is the one thing I don't like that they changed.
no, absolutely not.
That one's kind of like because that's another thing. I mean, that we told you guys, Destiny Nova is actually on the ground in the original.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Destinova
He's-
is like
I think
exiled.
he's trying to get back too. Yeah, he's exiled and he's
Uh,
kinda.
He
Does he
I don't
still
know
have
if
the
he's
same
trying-
power of just being able to
No.
watch anyone?
No, he
that
doesn't
one-
have this like omnipresence.
Yeah,
He's not fucking
He-
Sauron.
so
from-
yeah.
In
from
the
Lord of
manga,
Rings.
he's like connected to early stuff. Like you first find out him with Makaku, who is that
Gyashon.
Yeah,
whoever
Sean.
the
Big-
G-name guy
You know the
in
name.
the movie.
Garesh.
Garesh.
Sure.
Yeah.
Whoever was
You
it.
first find out about him that he like basically gave Makaku all his shit.
Yeah, he
And,
Well,
like,
he
took
said that.
care of him and
He said that a
gave him-
little bit when
Yeah.
Garesh was defeated. He
Yeah.
spoke on
But,
him
like,
about
but
defeating
even
my champion. Or
in
something.
the manga, like Makaku doesn't really know about Destinova.
yeah.
He just like knows that this is a guy who, when I was eating sludge from the sewers, helped me.
yeah.
Can, do
And
they
then
can,
left.
can he control
No.
the cyborgs?
No,
No, he can't do anything.
not in the manga. No.
Okay.
He's
But he
he's
doesn't
pretty
have-
much an
he's-
evil Ito.
okay.
He's
Yeah.
like a brilliant
He has-
scientist, brilliant surgeon, but that's kind of all.
Yeah, and he-
obviously there's
He
more
likes
Yeah,
to
like
it.
in the
mess
anime, it just-
inside people's
He
brains.
feels like an
Yeah.
overlord. Like he's just like
Yeah.
Yeah, no,
These
That's
are my,
like
these are
kind
my
of the
children.
thing.
what like the entire society of like Zalem could do.
Yeah.
Because that's another thing. Yeah, like they replaced the idea because Zalem like it was like the big overlords. They were the ones that
Yeah.
were doing that kind of shit. And I keep saying Dusty. Dusty was kind of just like a separate player. He was a separate thing,
Yeah.
trying to do his own thing.
Mhm.
And then yeah, they kind of made Destiny into.
And he's
Nova.
certainly an antagonist, but he's like a third party antagonist.
Yeah, exactly.
Where he's
Exactly.
has an antagonistic relationship with Zalem and Alita.
Yeah, they kind of just hate each other.
Okay, go ahead.
The only thing I was gonna say is the two things are the trailer and the pacing. So I didn't watch anything about this movie before watching it,
Same.
Yeah.
and then
I tried very hard not to, but the night, literally like 3 a.m. before, I was like, man, let's look up some
Look up some
things.
trailers.
And all I saw were people being like, man, this is a real faithful adaptation. And I got real hype, and then when I watched the movie, I was like, oh, it's like pretty faithful.
but not
It's
to
still
the
You
point.
shouldn't
good.
have. You shouldn't have
It's
looked
still
up.
good.
Shane.
I would have been really happy that the only changes were the OVA changes as
Yeah.
opposed to like actual rewrites.
Yeah.
Instead of like getting hyped for it to be like a straight manga adaptation.
Mhm.
Mhm. So what
Yeah.
I was gonna say is that so for the trailer, I didn't watch anything before watching the movie, and then today after watching the movie, I went and watched the trailer, and to me, like if I were to have made the trailer or directed the trailer, I would have kind of held some things back. Like in the trailer, they show the final scene where she's pointing the sword up to Zalem,
Yeah.
and they also show her with like her body or whatever.
Yeah.
Which I think if you're gonna show a trailer, show her just with the first armor, because there's cool fight scenes and stuff that you can use from there.
Yeah.
And just show Motoball like with the other scenes that don't include her with that armor.
Yeah.
Because then you can kind of have a big reveal that she does have that armor in the movie. Just personally, I think that would have done a better job of making it a bigger spectacle when you see it in the movie.
Yeah.
And then in terms of pacing for the movie, I really liked the movie throughout. It was really well done, and like whatever. And the kiss scene was very cringy and weird.
Yeah.
But
obviously
they finished. They went through, and then Hugo died, and that was fine. And then
Was it?
Yeah, it was fine.
it wasn't fine, but like I'm saying, in terms of pacing and timing of the movie, that was all good. And then they got to the end, and it's like, okay, I'm coming for you. And she was talking to him, and she killed Vector, right?
See a Vector.
And then 2 years later, now I'm the champion of Motorball,
so that's kind
and
of how
I'm
it goes
coming
in
for
Manga.
you. And it's just like, well, you didn't have to. For me, I think it just like to me that's cool. Like, make a sequel of her rising through the ranks or
That's
something.
literally the second arc.
Yeah.
Of
So
the manga.
in the manga, there's that time
they're
skip.
skipping that.
Yeah,
It's a 2-year time skip, but it's the 2-year time skip begins with her like at the low ranks of Motorball.
Uh-huh.
yeah.
So,
So
the
you
way
get
it
to see her
felt
rise up.
leading up to that point, it was like, okay, she's beat Garesh or a Makaku, and she's killed Vector,
Yeah.
and what's her mom or the mom's name?
Shirin.
Shirin is
That's
gone.
her VA character.
Ito approves of her being a hunter warrior,
Yeah.
whatever, and then like, okay, now she's got to go for this. What's the name of the movie?
Who?
Nova.
Nova?
Nova. Yeah, Nova. Now she's got to go for Nova. I was like, damn, this movie's pretty long. Like,
Yeah.
Yeah.
it
The
felt
only
like she
thing
was gonna
was-
go for him right after that,
Yeah,
like, because
so-
that's what it was leading up to.
Yeah.
I was like, damn, this movie's gonna be super fucking long.
Yeah,
She has to go through a whole thing going
I
for
was
him,
literally like, man, there's so much movie left.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
Right.
then it ended.
and
Okay.
then they just cut and like 2 years, she was right at the brink of like defeating all his henchmen, just competing in Motorball,
That's a weird.
and then
thing
she's
to
like,
me,
I'm
eh?
coming for you.
Yeah. Wait. What?
Was that the champion of Motorball goes up to Zalem?
No, they say that too.
Do they?
That's a big. Yeah, it's a big part of why a lot
Does-
of people did it.
Does the
But it's no, they don't actually get to go up. That's the whole point. Like, remember how she was also promised you get to go up, but
In the
then they
manga,
just
how
harvested.
long? How long was
Who?
How long was the Motorball champion for?
Uh,
I thought they said like every 2 years they send someone up.
I don't remember.
But
the
I
time.
thought that in the manga he was like undefeated for a really long
I think
period of time.
if I'm not wrong, it's because he chose not to.
Okay.
He didn't want to go up. He just wanted to stay as a top dog.
Hmm.
I don't remember that well though. Okay. The thing is, I read the manga. I want to say like a year ago. When I first heard about the movie, I thought, okay, it looks cool. Then I realized I learned it was made based on a manga. I was like, okay, I got to read it first. So I read it, and then I binged it because it was actually really good. And then I had to wait a year.
Mhm.
I told Sid about it, and he read it more recently than I
Yeah.
did. So
I also-
if anything, you're
yeah.
gonna remember a lot more. And then you
Yeah.
also
But all the
kept
arcs
going.
kind of blend together because I read it in 2 days.
Jesus Christ.
It's
Someone has
really
fucking
good.
time on their hands.
No, it's actually really, really, really good.
Cindy doesn't sleep. Everyone who
Also,
That's the
listening.
strat, dude.
also that's another good.
Jesus
OP
Christ.
strat.
No, but
Okay, I like.
Here it comes.
Here it comes. I've been building up because I've been listening to everyone's.
the hot take.
Yeah. Okay. So,
We're doing hot takes. I'm ready.
I liked it. Okay.
Yeah.
But there's some pretty big issues that I have with the movie, not knowing any of the previous lore besides knowing the movie.
Yeah.
Okay, so going into it, it felt like they could have. From what I'm expecting, they're not going to make a sequel, or they weren't planning on making a sequel.
Yeah.
I think that they were just going to be like, this is what we have, and if it goes well, we're going for a sequel. But if it doesn't, this is going to be the standalone movie.
Yeah.
So that's what I think the end game for James Cameron was, because if it takes 20 years to make one, we're not getting another
I
one
think
for another 20 years.
That was
Well,
more 'cause
that
it
was
his
more
side
development.
project.
It was
right?
also
But yeah,
development
he, did,
hell for a
he
long
just
time.
did it
Yeah.
kind of on his own.
Yeah.
Kind of,
Yeah.
Yeah.
Exactly.
But also, like, what I'm getting at though is that, like, this movie, it I felt like it took 4 different like strands of things that it didn't need to all take in. Like, I think I could have watched Alita, Battle Angel, just Battle battle. What is the game sport called?
Motorball.
Motorball. I could have just watched an entire Alita Battle Angel only Motorball, but then they had to bring into the like I think it's a part of the story, but again I don't know the lore behind it. But I feel like they were like, okay, now we're gonna have the bounty hunters come in, and now we're gonna have this come in, and now we're gonna have this Desti or whatever his name is, Nova come in, and it felt like everything was just being attacked onto this like plate that is probably like 200 chapters in the manga, right?
50.
Yeah,
not even.
Okay, but it still felt like it just kept trying to like for me there was no real villain. Like this movie didn't have a villain.
Well, so how the manga breaks down is Volume 1, the villain is Mikaku. Goresh or whatever in the movie. Mm-hmm. That's the villain. It ends when Alita beats him. Mm-hmm. Volume 2 is the Hugo arc. It ends when Hugo dies. Mm-hmm. Volume 3 is the first part of Motorball.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Volume 4 is the end of Motorball.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And then I think Johnny, I think there very clearly was a villain, and that was Vector and Sarin and Goresh, and they were the threefold of the enemy going against.
But then
them.
you had the freaking bounty hunter guy, which was also like,
but he wasn't really.
No, he was just a selfish prick because they're living in like a dog eat dog world at the bottom.
Yeah.
But he was not evil per se. Technically, he's taking out evil people who have bounties on them. He's just a prick.
Like the only thing that Nova did was like, oh, kill that bitch, and then you were just like,
because you don't know what he's getting at, and that's a whole that's a big problem with the movie. Actually, is it's leading up to the reveal, and like Nova's the new guy.
I don't know if they even like really give Nova a motivation to not.
That's the thing. They don't.
That's weird.
But like the movie acts like it's gonna get to that, and it says like, oh, don't worry, you're gonna see who Nova.
Motivation for what?
For like
what
not
he's
liking Alita.
Well, he says he wants her heart.
Yeah.
Does it?
Yeah.
I like literally didn't even register.
He said, "Get me her heart."
Yeah. No, that was
obviously because of the whole like micro reactor shit.
Yeah, like you could power the city for 6 years.
But yeah, like the thing is, you still don't know anything about him.
Yeah,
and
that's what I felt. It was just like, oh, Dr. Robotnik's looking down.
That kind of makes a good villain. Like he's kind of obscure, right? Like and he's kind of hidden.
I agree with that 100%.
I agree with that. If there's a sequel,
but they have to be revealed eventually. And yeah, the thing is, like, they don't reveal anything. If there's a sequel, then yeah. But if there's not, then it's kind of just like, oh, there's this.
The thing I worry about with the sequel, okay, first of all, I don't know if they're gonna make a sequel because based on the shape of that theater, where it was like us four and like 7 other people in the theater, and we reserved seats, thinking like, man, people are gonna watch this movie. We better reserve seats ahead of time.
Dude, that was.
It was like, wow, not a lot of people here.
Yeah.
And
even
to be fair, it was a Friday night.
Opening weekend, man.
Are
you kidding?
No, that's a joke.
James Cameron, right?
Yeah.
And so, secondly, I think if people watch it and the word spreads that it's good, it will get a sequel.
Yeah.
But the quality in a sequel made after a movie that was made as a pet project and his own free time for 20 years versus a sequel to a movie that became successful.
Yeah.
I think the sequel might do some money grab things that are going to take away from the movie.
That's a good point, actually. But the thing is, I think he has notes for the rest of it, too.
Yeah, but I think I'd be okay with this not having a sequel.
Oh, I would be, too. 100%. But I'm saying,
I think this is a good standalone movie that pays tribute to Alita, whatever Alita is. I think it conveyed the universe greatly to me who didn't know it. And to you guys, from what has been said, a really good anime live-action conversion.
Yeah. One of the best,
and
for sure.
a good
which isn't saying
way
much,
to kind of pay tribute to the old one.
Yeah, 100%.
That's all I'd say.
Yeah, no.
And it's like comparing to like Incredibles 1 and Incredibles 2, right? Incredibles 2, they put a lot of effort and time, but it just doesn't get the same thing as the first one.
Yeah.
Because of just like the appeal and the aesthetic and the newness of it, right?
Yeah, that's fair.
And with the sequel for something like this, plus they've already tied in all 3 main arcs. They maybe go off into some of their own their own writing.
More.
There's lots of more
that could ruin it for people who are true fans.
That's the thing though, with the way they're doing Nova, then they're gonna have to go with their own writing.
Yeah.
And I don't know. Yeah.
Are movie theaters open on Family Day?
I don't know. For context, how many days in 2 days for us?
Right.
What's the box office mojo?
What is that? Like a review aggregated?
I don't know. Domestic total as of go back. As of February 15th, 16 million.
Ooh, that's not good.
Production budget 170 million.
Yeah.
Unlucky.
That's
honestly. But that's
okay, but keep in mind this is domestic.
Yeah,
that's Wednesday, Thursday,
Friday.
That's as of Friday, so maybe that doesn't count Friday estimates.
Yeah.
True. Yeah. Actually, yeah. I don't know.
So it's still okay. So we still have Saturday.
It's
and
a slow
Sunday.
start.
Yeah.
But Wednesday and Thursdays aren't really the big hitters for opening
Yeah.
weekend.
Like, it's not gonna be a Marvel movie.
What
It's not
else-
gonna
They
make
have to.
mad
They have
money.
to make profit though.
Yeah,
Yeah.
but,
No, I'm saying yeah.
Production budget 170. They gotta hit that mark at least.
but I don't think it's even gonna. Dude,
Top box office is an
that's
okay 7.5
shame. Like walking. So when we were in the theater and there's like no one else there, I was like, man, I almost kind of hope this movie isn't that good because I don't want it to be good and then not make
Yeah.
money.
Yeah.
Because if that's the case, then in the future, any adaptations aren't gonna get a big budget to try
Yeah.
and do things.
Well, that's what happened with the Han Solo movie. So technically, people can say it wasn't a very good movie. The story wasn't very good, but I think it was decently done
Yeah.
and didn't deserve the hate that the movie like Last Jedi did.
It got carried over
But
from the
it
last
got
Jedi.
boycotted
Yeah.
because of Last Jedi and because of what happened with Han Solo not making money.
Now
They canceled the Obi-Wan movie and all the
Boba
other
Fett
side
movies.
movies
Yeah.
because of that. And that's like what you said. This probably might happen.
Yeah.
Looking like it's gonna happen with Alita based on that theater.
Which sucks. It was only one theater, honestly, though.
No,
like,
but that,
look at the-
theater gets packed on opening
Yeah.
weekend
Yeah.
and stuff,
Yeah?
depending on the movie.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's never
That's rough.
like reserve seats is usually important for a big movie coming up and
Yeah.
stuff, right?
Yeah.
It's not
Yeah.
going against a terrible lineup though. We're just looking at the Rotten Tomatoes, and it's going against Happy Death Day 2, You, Isn't It Romantic, which is kind of actually a big thing because it's Valentine's Day, but
Yeah.
Flying with My
Who the
Family,
fuck
Bird of
cares?
Passage, yeah. But
Yeah.
it's not going against like the Lego 2 movie, like that's a thing, but that's been out since what, like last 2 weeks ago, 3 weeks
we
ago?
watched it like.
Lego 2 movie.
Oh, but we watched it early though.
Lego 2 movie.
Yeah, we watched an early screening.
Yeah.
February 8th, so 2 weeks ago?
Yeah. Ish.
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 No,
It
1
is
week
the
ago.
16th.
So
It is
it was a
16th.
week ago. So it's
Gaseous drink.
it's not going against the
Let
worst
us know if you
the
wanna
worst
sponsor
lineup
us.
because there was like what was the movie there was a movie that came out that was like really it was freaking Treasure Planet.
What about
Oh,
Treasure
yeah,
Planet
that
came
was
out,
great.
and
Are
it
you
was
talking the old Disney movie?
yes,
Yeah.
the
Yeah,
old
so
Treasure
good.
Planet.
Treasure
Like,
Planet.
I don't know
Do you
whose
know?
glasses
it was
Oh,
set up for
Dude,
failure,
we
dude.
could talk about Treasure Planet.
Well, it
for
came
a
out when
long time,
Mulan
too.
came out. It was going up against Mulan.
Treasure Planet has a real big history.
It's
so
got a
sad.
cult following too.
Mm.
Well, like the people who
Makes
made
sense.
Treasure Planet wanted to make Treasure Planet for a long time, and they kept making
It's
different
good.
movies for the purpose
Oh, yeah.
of in the future making
Making
Treasure
Treasure
Planet.
Planet. I
And
remember
then
reading
they
that.
made Treasure Planet, and it was like
Didn't do well. in box
didn't
office.
make any money, and they were like, oh,
No, sorry, not Mulan. Toy Story went up against Mulan.
Weren't they putting their own like shit against it or something? Wasn't that like
What
part
do
of
you
it as
mean?
well?
Kind
Like their own movies were against Treasure Planet, and like
Yeah.
they
Well,
weren't putting
so-
advertisements up either.
So the advertising for Treasure Planet was really bad. But this isn't about Treasure Planet.
Why
it's
is it about-
Alita? What are you doing?
I'm sorry. I'm just saying. Like I was comparing it to
All right.
Alita, where like the box office isn't terrible for it.
I think the biggest hope for Alita is gonna be like
Japan.
international.
Yep,
Yeah,
And
I think Japanese.
it's gonna be
audience
great
big.
for them. Like
hopefully-
100%
Hopefully word of mouth as well. Like
Well,
Yeah.
it's got 92% user reviews
by audience. Yeah.
Yeah.
So that's actually pretty good.
yeah, but like honestly, like I don't
I
think
hate that the
everyday
first
people
thing you
like
see is
look at
that.
Rotten Tomatoes and check. Like people who
Yeah.
care
Well,
check
they'll
Rotten
see the
Tomatoes.
59.
But general public, like it needs to get out like to general public
Yeah,
that this
no, I
is
know
a
what
good
you mean, I
movie.
know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like people need to talk about it on Twitter or like
Yeah.
in the news or whatever, right?
Yeah,
Whatever
yeah,
platform
yeah.
that gets out to general populace who like everyone looks at this
Yeah.
platform and it gets big.
Have you
Because
tweeted yet?
I have not.
I
tweeted
think
yet.
I actually think it's gonna grow gradually because everyone that's seen it so far,
Yeah,
from what
pretty
I've heard,
much.
have been saying like,
Pretty
"Hey, it's
much.
pretty good. Go see
Yeah.
it." Like I told my sister and her fiance that
For
they
real?
should go see it. Yeah, yeah. Anyways,
I can't wait till I marry her.
Gee, shut the fuck up. Anyways, yeah. Like I went to them and she was like, "I don't know if I want to go see it. It's kind of like an iffy thing." So I
But
think
it's
that
such a good movie.
it is. It's
for me, who knew nothing about it, if I didn't even know it was based on
Yeah.
a manga, it was a really good standalone movie.
Honestly, worth it alone just for the action.
I
scenes.
really admired it. Like the motorball had a very, like I talked to Bruno about, this kind of Speed Racer vibe to it with like the
Yeah.
racing and kind of fighting. Even though Speed Racer they're fighting in cars, it's still like a kind of death race,
yeah.
right? But it's around this like big track within a stadium.
Also has like an F-Zero vibe.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, that's exactly what I got.
And also, like the stadium itself had like a Thor Ragnarok kind of vibe with like the
Yeah.
big the
Yeah.
the whole the Thul. Hulk fighting the.
I love it. I love it when
Hulk
the
fighting the
Thulk
Thulk.
fights Thor.
Hulk fighting the Thor. In
Fighting the Thor.
Jesus.
All right,
Uh-oh.
let's rewind it. Let's rewind that. Go ahead.
Jesus. Hulk fighting Thor.
Yeah.
In Thor Ragnarok, like that kind of like stadium vibe was cool.
Yeah.
And I just think it like kind of reminded me of that.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Yeah.
And then like the world itself had like you said, like an Astro Boy feel, or like what was the other one?
Big Hero 6.
Yeah, Big Hero 6 vibes. And I think like the universe seemed cool and well done.
Yeah.
All right.
What?
Things that you'd change immediately.
Kiss.
I want her to give it an R rating.
The dialogue.
Yeah, I was thinking
Absolutely.
that right now. If this was R rated, it would be hype as
Oh
shit.
yeah.
Alita should
have been
Absolutely.
rated.
Fucking kill people.
deserve to have an
Yes,
R
yes.
rating. It
I
would
fucking
give
love the
so much freedom.
choreography.
I
in
think
this
they
movie,
really
though.
wanted to get like I don't know what it is in the manga.
I think James
but
Cameron always wants a PG-13.
They really wanted to get like a
lot of people.
father-daughter vibe from her and Ito, and
so
I don't know what
that's
it is
how
like
it begins.
in the
but
in the
so
anime.
in the manga, that's
the
absolutely
manga.
how it begins. It begins with Ito being very overly protective.
Yeah, that's exactly.
and
how
him having a very similar scene with I don't want you to be
know.
hunter warrior. You shouldn't have to
You don't
dirty
have
your
to
hands.
be part of that. You don't have to be
Yeah.
a warrior just because that's what you're made
There's
for.
a few like a weird emotional shifts where in the manga when Alita was angry, in this one she just kind of got like sad
Yeah.
and
She got angry when he wouldn't put her in this.
yeah.
And
So
she
that was like the
slammed
emotional
down.
level that she got in the manga when
Yeah.
he didn't want her to be a hunter warrior.
You know that was funny though.
Like,
In terms of like the plot, like I will never put you in that body.
yeah,
And like she obviously like she had no other body because she got
Yeah.
fucking murked. Like
yeah.
when
So
she
that's how it
it
works.
was immediately
in
after he
manga.
puts her in,
Yeah.
but like
But he doesn't like express that I don't want to put you in it.
what about the
Yeah.
body he put
Really?
Hugo in? Couldn't he have done that with her?
Yeah, but that's a guy body. Though. That's a boy body.
Oh my bad.
She's a girl.
Yeah.
Yeah, I
Um,
got a little. It's just got so sliced up in the last like 30 minutes of the show, or in the
Movie. Yeah.
movie.
Well, so
It was like-
you know what might be funny about that is that the last parts were like the parts that weren't in the OVA.
Hmm.
Hmm.
What
The
did
OVA
they ever stop at?
OVA stops at like
The
Hugo.
Caucasus?
Hugo dying?
Okay.
Hugo-
Yeah, but I'm talking about up to there.
I think
Yeah.
that should have been the end. Honestly, when I heard they were making the movie,
Yeah,
I thought,
that's where
oh, they're
that
gonna
was-
make the Hugo arc.
That
That's
was
where,
pretty
that's
much
how
it.
far the OVA goes.
Yeah, but I meant like don't introduce the Destinova stuff. Don't introduce
No,
the
so
stuff.
Destinova is like such like a late game thing for Alita.
Yeah, that's the thing.
That's
and that's
like-
why I thought it was gonna be because honestly,
But
if
is he
they
there
just-
since day one?
kind of,
Kind
but
of,
not
he's-
really.
but he's
mentioned.
so-
But he's kind of like
so
in
far in
that.
the
Way
background,
less than
you
this.
don't even
No,
know
but
his
like
name.
they're saying
Oh.
he's like, super omnipotent and like watching
Yeah,
all
yeah,
everything.
So it's like when he gets introduced, you get to enjoy the fact that he has been there since the beginning.
Mm.
But at the beginning, you don't know he's there.
Mm-hmm.
yeah,
you,
like
you just know.
he's like a one.
Oh, you know what's a weird change that I don't get is
What?
that Ito didn't have the mark.
Yeah,
and
he took. They say he took it
addressed
off.
it that they took it off, but I don't know why.
Because he said he didn't want to be associated with it anymore.
Yeah, but he has that all throughout the manga. 'Cause
Yeah.
in Motorball, what's his sister's name?
Oh,
The little sister of the Motorball champion.
I don't remember.
whoever-
Koyori, not Koyori.
She-
Don't remember.
Yeah, she sees his mark and she gets him to like fix the Motorball champion. And like when asked
So does the mark and
why,
beef?
so all the mark means is that they're from Zalem.
Yeah, that's.
But does
Josh
that? But
again?
that
That's
does that
the
have
champion.
some sort
Yeah,
of
Josh
connotation
again
that they're
is-
like super geniuses and can fix motorball suits?
Kind of. So
It just means they're from.
yeah.
like-
So if you leave it at just like people
Shamira,
from
that's it.
Zalem have a very good education, that would be like a sufficient.
Okay.
People
This
who
is
are
a-
from Zalem
I just
are
will.
basically.
I just want you to take in this great wiki page.
That's
Dude,
good.
it's fandom.
Shumira.
Yashigan younger sister.
Yeah.
But yeah,
3 words.
Yeah. So like when she sees the mark on
That's her.
Ito, that's like the doctor mark to her
Uh-huh.
because then you find out that and that's when you like first. That's not when you first
That's
find
Ito?
out. That's like
That's
the
Ito.
other part when Destinova gets
That's
brought
Ito.
up. Is that you
He
find
looks
out?
way less like an old man
Yeah.
in that.
yeah. Actually, I thought Christopher Waltz did a really good job.
He's a great actor, so
Yeah,
I
he's
really
a
liked
fucking
his.
dope actor. That's another thing. I
presence.
think all the acting was good. The dialogue could use a lot of work. Oh, that's Hugo, by the way. Go back. Not
That's
that.
you.
Yeah. Everyone.
Yeah, that's Hugo.
Everyone kind of got.
Look up
aged
Hugo.
up.
Yeah, that guy's Hugo.
That,
Everyone
Hugo
got
is
aged
way
up.
more boyish.
Yeah.
In this
Yeah.
Well,
than-
so in the
Remember
in the movie,
the very much Hugo's a ripped young
Yeah.
boy scene,
Yeah.
which is
And-
and Alita is Spider-Man in the windowsill.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh
See,
yeah, pizza time.
Pizza
it
time.
makes Vector like way less predatory in the movie.
Yeah, cause
They probably tried to
that's
stare
my
But it
boy.
didn't
Yeah,
even
that
feel like
That's my boy.
I felt like she felt old the entire time.
She kind of okay.
So,
that's another thing too.
Like
'cause
it didn't like you guys are saying like in the manga, sure she like literally grows up, right?
Yeah,
But
Yeah,
in
you get to
this,
see
it
her
literally
grow
was
up
just
a
like,
lot.
oh, she's got tots and butt now, and that's it.
Well, she kind of always does.
Yeah, like it didn't like it enhanced it, of course, right? You know,
Oh,
fake voice.
looking kind of
It
milfy.
didn't like if you see the comparison between the first part and the second part, she doesn't seem like she's grown up that much. It's just like, oh, she's got bigger tits.
No, I mean emotionally.
Oh, I'm not talking about
Yeah,
the
she's a-
emotion.
No,
She's
she
a
always
robot.
looks the same because she's a
No,
fucking
because
robot.
Hugo in the thing was like, oh, it seems like you've grown up now.
Well, yeah, that's because
She's
that's
probably
'cause-
physically tall.
She got
Yeah.
knockers.
Well,
Yeah.
I'm saying in the movie, that's literally they made Hugo just be like, man, you got some good knockers now. That was
got massive
Hugo's
cars.
arc.
Some nice metal knockers.
Well, that's a thing that
Absolutely
you
massive
should talk
cans.
about.
What? Oh, that's I
yeah,
talked
that
about
so
that.
that's-
That-
yeah, that ties into the. It should have been an R rating
Yeah,
if you wanted
'cause-
to do it
yeah.
truthfully, but PG-13. But that would have
That's-
R rating.
go back.
My boy.
That's a.
Sales
They
anyway.
did a good job with that. That looks
Is
cool.
that Zapan in the OVA?
I can't see from here.
That's
I
kind of
got-
whack. Look
I
up
need
Zapan. Look up
glasses.
Zapan. Z-A-P-A-N.
Z
Z-A-P-A-N.
Z a pen.
Zapan. Just look up
Thulk,
Zapan.
by the way.
Thulk.
Hulk
Oh.
fights the
Yeah, no,
Thor.
that's good. That's good. That's what he looks like in yours.
Yeah.
That's not bad.
Oh yes. Oh, but that's not till later. Also, yeah, you see his mark. Kinda.
He has a mark.
Yeah, you can see it in the movie. It's very, very like faint, but
He's from.
no,
Zero?
it's not the same mark. He just has a mark.
Killshot.
Yeah, that's what it is. Oh man, I moved the art in the manga is actually really good.
Yeah. It gets much better after the first one.
I think.
I mean, eventually, yeah. When it first starts, it's kind of
No, it's not bad in the first.
well.
It-
There's some
so
really
it's
good
very-
panels, but
Yeah.
a lot of the human
It's-
characters.
There's
look
a,
kinda-
it's a lot of like.
well, it's
empty
80s.
space.
It's very 80s
Yeah.
style, which I don't mind. I actually really like the 80s, early 90s style, but
Some weird spots for me in the movie were. The kiss scene had probably the worst dialogue ever
Yeah,
throughout
that
the
was-
entire
so-
movie.
that was kind
It
of
was very
Yeah, it's a ve-
weird and
It was,
ungenuine.
it was
and
very like
The
a,
heart
like a,
scene
we
was,
gotta establish that this is a romance now,
yeah.
yeah.
and which just comes with compressing stuff down.
And the heart scene was very cringy
Yeah.
and weird.
seemed really
and
forced.
It seemed really forced, and like by this point, how she's matured from the beginning to now,
Yeah.
she should know by now that her heart isn't like that.
Yeah. Yeah.
But I guess like it kind of sold that she was very trusting and faithful to him,
Well,
and showed her
I
naivety.
think what they were trying to get at is because she literally offers him her heart.
Yeah, so that
And
was
then
that
at
was
the
like
end,
some
she
weird
uses it to save
foreshadowing,
Yeah.
but it's like foreshadowing for people who already knew that it was gonna happen.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There were a couple lines that were absolutely
Yeah, so-
the Kansas, like the bar Kansas. That's another thing. Remember the bar they fight in? That's a
Mhm.
pretty big deal in the manga. It's like a place they hang out at a lot.
Yeah,
And like the owner and the people that go there are a pretty big deal. Which I don't mind that they didn't introduce because it's not absolutely crucial. But it would like, and I thought it was a cool Easter egg. You get to see like Kansas written on there.
And then at the end,
Japan was kind of like a dick right from the start, which he isn't in the manga. He just
He's
kind
a
of
dick.
does nothing.
When at the very beginning, he's kind
Who?
of a dick.
He is
The
Japan,
bitch.
but like Japan was like aggressively a dick in the movie.
Yeah,
It was like rushing to establish, oh man, this guy's a real dick.
well, yeah, because
Yeah.
they don't have a lot of time
Yeah.
to do the whole thing, the characterization.
yeah,
I thought he
it
was
just
actually
almost
really
like
done.
feels like almost like caricature-ish.
Yeah, I
It
thought it
looks
was.
the
I thought
same,
that was
Johnny.
pretty well done.
No, so I think so. That's absolutely like a nitpicky thing, right?
Yeah,
And a lot of complaints are gonna be that.
I think we were talking about this. I think the whole point of the movie and
Yeah.
like the whole baseline is everything we complain about. Like at least personally, I
Yeah.
feel like I'm nitpicking.
Yeah,
Every single thing I said
So,
that I didn't like,
that's
except for dialogue,
Yeah.
because the dialogue could have used a lot of work.
so I think that like on like
Why are we doing
standalone movie standards, I think
this?
it's
Oh,
like
side by side.
probably like a 7 out of 10.
Yeah.
7.
It's
I
like
would- I
five
was
is
No,
average?
I'd give it a
I
bit
was-
higher.
I would say.
On like
Really? I would
not
give
like
it-
not like a weighted scale where like 5 is bad, where like 5 is like this is like an average movie.
Yeah,
I
I'd
think
say
it's
7.
Okay, then,
I was
yeah.
thinking like 7 or 8, somewhere like
7, yeah.
that. 7.5.
A
Yeah.
strong
For me.
7, light 8.
There was.
So I think
It was just that, like I
Yeah.
said, for me, the worst part was the ending and how they tied it up. Because like they could have
Yeah.
done a way better job. It just
Yeah.
didn't feel like complete rounded
Yeah.
from start
Yeah.
to finish
So that
at
was
the ending.
that was had to do with I think really wanting Motorball to be in there,
Yeah.
but not wanting
And
to
then
do the story.
one
I
thing I
guess.
was gonna say is when she gets her new body, they have two weird things. The first weird thing is the weird yoga pose. No,
Oh.
even the
Yeah.
boobs or whatever and stuff growing.
was
That's
weird.
whatever. That's her. She's reverting to her old form because she was in a different body, right?
Yeah,
Fine,
okay.
and it has nanotechnology. But
She's
the
showing
weird
she's thick.
yoga stretching scene where she's on one finger.
Yeah.
And like her, like she's like displaying her body's
They did a few
flexibility,
weird,
like right in front
yeah.
of like Ito, who's supposed to be her father figure,
Yeah.
was a little strange. Like she's a warrior,
Yeah.
so to me, I think she'd
So-
like walk up and be like,
That kind
and
of
be like, I'm a god now,
yeah,
not
that
like
kind of was a problem. Was
check
that-
out my flexibility.
So, Alita's story, like, really, if you just like take it at face value, it really lends into that like fantasy of having a girl really dependent on you just show up.
Mm-hmm.
That
In the movie or in the manga?
just the storyline in general. If you just
I
like
would strongly disagree with that. At the beginning, maybe.
No,
but the
I'm
whole
saying-
point
I'm
of her
saying
is becoming.
if you were like just given, hey, there's a story about this.
Yeah, I guess
Not
the
like
hook,
what
the hook
actually
maybe,
happens.
Yeah, but like that's to hook you in. But then like I'm saying like
No, so this is what
the
I'm
whole
saying.
point of her
So,
character is that she grows
yeah,
up to be so much.
I
more.
absolutely agree, and this is why I was saying this. That so if you're not like careful with that, and you so in the manga she gets independence really early.
Yeah.
Oh
yeah,
fuck
that's
yeah!
true.
Like it was like 5 minutes, and it was just like, oh, now I kick ass. I'm like, okay.
No, but like even she gets even more independence in the manga, like where
Like she just
she
does her
doesn't
own thing.
need Ito.
She doesn't live there anymore with
Well,
them.
that's what
Yeah,
I feel.
she
That's what
doesn't
it
live
felt
with
like after.
But like, so in the movie when she like is going back to Ito or whatever,
Yeah.
that is like well after she would have kind of been alone.
Been on her own.
Mhm.
Yeah. I didn't mind that. Okay. This is the thing.
So-
I'm a big sucker for like kind of like parental relationships.
Yeah,
So
so
I
I
really
really,
like
like the parental relationship, but it felt like there was just a few times when it leaned just a little bit too hard into
The fantasy.
the fantasy,
thing. Yeah.
where it was like,
Okay.
ooh, now we're getting kind of creepy.
Yeah.
oh,
You
Sword
gotta,
Art
you gotta be
Online.
careful. You gotta lean
Sword
that.
Art
You gotta lean
Online.
that back to the strong female
No,
protagonist
it's
way.
Yeah.
Yui's the best character.
It felt
introduced.
Like
God, the fucking anime. Like
Hey,
the
weird
choreography is so fucking good in this movie.
I can't. It's so hard to compare
Hey, bro,
parental. Oh, go ahead.
here's a nitpick. Why didn't she ever use the fucking plasma?
Though. Yeah,
They just-
that's a
they just
big,
tell you.
big thing.
They
I
just
think
tell
it's
you about
kind
it in
of
the
like
movie.
for someone who like isn't used to, let's say, like an anime universe or something like that.
Yeah,
When they set
so-
the precedent at the beginning of the movie where guns are banned,
Yeah,
I think the idea of her
So
shooting
she doesn't shoot plasma. She just
would
makes
be
it really
conf-
hot,
would be
and
conflicting
she almost
to people.
can use it like a jet to.
yeah,
propel
but like
herself.
it's not like a gun. It's
Yeah.
like Sid's saying, like she uses
She can
it like
ba-
a very
it's basically
close range
like
thing.
a plasma cutter,
Okay.
and
But it's a big part of
it's
her
really
arsenal.
cool, and and I almost understand not using it because it's such an anime thing.
Yeah, it is.
But
really
It was
weird.
weird that
be
I
like
so
Iron
like
Man.
I was prepared for them to not use it, and then they were like, "Hey, you take Aaron and you make plasma," and I was like, "Oh, they explained how it works," which was like the weird thing because in the manga it's like almost like a narration. It's like one of those anime moments where it's like, "Hey, here's explaining this because it's
Yeah.
really weird."
Yeah, JoJo's.
But then they did it pretty well in the movie where they established, "Hey, you can make plasma," and then it's never brought up
yeah,
again.
they just don't use it.
The
And
only time we
She
use it
used
is
it
when
for
she's
the sword. But
Yeah,
it just
she
seems like
makes
that
the
sword
go.
already cuts through things easily.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And now it's just a flaming sword that cuts through things easily.
Yeah.
a lot of the fight scenes were simplified to just be action,
I didn't
as
mind
opposed. Well, I don't know.
like you said though,
takes
if they
away
explained whatever everything they
Alita's-
did.
from, it takes away from like Alita's like smart, intelligent.
That's a
fighting.
good point.
Oh.
'Cause- So in the manga, the way she kills Makaku is she like sabotages his Ripper hand. So that
Yeah.
so then she like baits him into using it again after she's like rigged it to explode when he activates the servos,
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
and then it blows him up.
Yeah.
Good.
That's another thing too. I love that they put the hand in, and I thought it was really cool.
The
Yeah.
shooty hand.
Yeah, but like, and I'm actually kind of glad they didn't do it exactly the same because in the manga it's very anime. Because like there's another one of those panels explaining the fingers vibrate extremely fast, so they essentially act like
they
story
dialed
cut through
everything back.
Yeah.
So, but that's super anime, right? Like you can't just have
they
them
dialed
move.
everything back. In the manga, it's like it's the speed of sound.
Yeah,
And it's like,
kind of like,
oh, okay. Well, you gotta dial that back when you're doing
the
live
one thing
action
was-
so that it's believable.
When she got cut by those blades, they didn't really establish that the chain part of the blade could cut, but then
That's
it just
so-
cut through her.
You know what's weird? So this is like an OVA adaptation.
Mm-hmm.
The part with the dog.
the
Where he just
dogs.
kills the dog.
Yeah.
In the OVA, they show he kills the dog in the OVA too.
Yeah.
But they show him killing the dog and it getting ripped apart by that.
Yeah.
But because it's PG-13,
It's
they
just
can't
a
show
stomp
that.
and
So they don't get
Why?
to establish
Why
how
the
it
fuck
works.
does she have to put her blood on her cheeks?
That's an OVA
That's
thing too.
No, it's on the
No,
manga.
From the dog is an OVA thing.
Oh, okay.
In the manga, she
Yeah.
does it with Makaku's blood.
Oh,
But why does it matter with Makaku?
Yeah,
To show
why-
like, oh, I
So
beaten
she-
Makaku.
It was from
no,
habit.
she fucks Makaku up, and then as she's still fighting Makaku, and it's like
She
time
puts it on
to
her
fight
cheeks?
him still, she puts it on.
Okay.
Yeah.
In the OVA and the movie,
Still
she
doesn't
uses
really
the
make
dog's
Yeah.
blood.
I mean, it
Well-
makes more sense with Makaku's like,
Well,
it's
do you know-
fucking fighting
So
time,
this
boy.
this was like a thing from like the Mars.
Yeah,
war
that's
thing.
what I was saying.
Oh, yeah, I saw
I,
a few of
I
that shit.
assumed it at some sort of
Oh.
precedent.
And you actually saw you didn't. They didn't dwell on it, but in do you know the scene where she's training with the Mars lady?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
You see the Mars lady had the two metal things
Mhm.
here, and that's exactly what that was.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
So
Like that's a thing from the Mars thing.
it's yeah.
Actually, yeah. See,
Even
we
when
can,
you know what, when she did that, she heard a voice in her head saying, "I do not stand in the face of evil,"
Yeah.
which kind of showed that it was
Yeah.
related to her
Yeah.
past.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So
yeah,
that was honestly a weird moment where
I kind of wish
I
they
don't
put
know
Mars
if they
shit in there.
explained it enough
I
for people
really
who
wish they
didn't
didn't
know
put Mars
this.
stuff. in
No,
there.
yeah. So yeah, Mars
Because they
stuff
could have had a really solid movie.
complicates stuff so much.
Yeah, I was like, what the
Honestly,
fuck is going on?
I didn't mind it. It was a little poorly conveyed that she was from Mars. I
Yeah.
had to look over and be like, "Hey,
Yeah.
Sydney, is
Well-
she from Mars?"
Yeah.
And he was like, "Yeah,
Well,
she's from
Even
Mars."
when you asked me that part, I was like, can I answer that? Because that's like a huge spoiler. But I also just said it.
Yeah, I was like, she got the suit, and then he said, "This is made for you," or you can use this because of your heart. And I was like, does that mean her heart just means that her heart is good enough to use it, and she just like jacking this cool suit that somehow she knows is there, or like that's actually her suit and her heart goes with that suit? And I was like, I don't really know. Hey, Sydney, is she a Martian? What?
Also, another thing that I hated was like, I didn't understand. It's probably going to be in the manga, and it's probably going to be part of the when she was attacking the Martian thing.
Lore.
But I was like, why is she in the junkyard? Because that's probably like
Oh,
during the fight.
That's big time.
Yeah,
manga.
that's all
big time
manga. And I was just kind of like, so she was there, and I understood that she was like the only survivor that made it up the fucking chain
chains.
thing.
Well, no, her coach was there with her.
Oh
from
yeah,
the
and
movie.
her, yeah.
Her
But
coach.
yeah, but whatever she is, like the boss lady.
Michelle Rodriguez.
Yeah,
That's-
she was there, and I was like, okay, so they
think she was Michelle
they
Rodriguez.
made it there or whatever.
Yeah, they
But,
didn't
like,
really say.
All that shit, I felt like just didn't have to be in the movie.
I think that was okay.
Yeah,
I
so-
think it was like enough to say like this is why she's powerful,
Well-
but not like kind of deep enough that you're like, well, what do you mean
Yeah.
by that?
So
And I think as not knowing the anime, like you said earlier, from someone who
Yeah.
doesn't know the manga or the OVA, the Mars stuff was okay. I think for me personally, it was
It wasn't
tolerable.
for me. It was just kind of like it was just like, oh, hey, she's from Mars now. Like I feel like everything could have been like amped up even more. Like, hey, why can she control the suit but no one else can? Like that would
we
have
could have
felt
just
cool.
explained it with her heart and said like, like I don't know why your heart's so cool. Or,
Yeah.
But like it is.
Yeah.
And that's all you need to know.
Yeah.
That's absolutely all you need to know.
But would
Same
that
as-
have aligned with his knowledge from the manga?
Well, all he knows in the
in the-
manga
yeah.
is that he doesn't really know how the berserker body
Yeah.
works.
And
But does he know it goes with her?
He in the manga he knows. So in the manga, they both get fucked up by Makaku, but they force Makaku to retreat. So then they have time to like rebuild, and Ito's real fucked up, so he can't even do the replacement. He walks his assistant through putting Alita in the berserker body because that's the only other body he had. He already had the berserker body in the manga because
Yeah.
he just scavenges stuff
found
from
it.
the scrapyard.
Yeah, he just found it. He got, and it's a big point he made. Like,
Yeah.
I got really lucky to find
And
such a good
he like he locked it away for however long.
Right.
yeah,
And it was like, but it was the only other body he had.
lying
For
around
Alita.
her. Yeah.
Okay.
What's her number? 99.
Yeah.
99.
No, but in the
I don't remember.
I don't remember.
That's a.
I think
small
that might
detail.
have been like I know, but it's just like
So
yeah.
finally up here,
Yeah.
what are final ratings?
Final thoughts. Ratings.
Final thoughts and ratings.
All right, so go first.
Oh, I'm going first. All right.
Yeah, of course you're going first, kid.
Overall, for like
Let's say
in
high,
general?
low rating, and maybe some like explanation.
the best part of the movie, the worst part of the movie.
Yeah.
Best part of the movie probably. I mean, probably it's the fight choreography. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Like
Okay.
it's really well done. It's super hype, and there's like almost nothing to ever complain about in the fight.
Yeah, yeah.
Low part of the movie,
There was no soundtrack in my
maybe
opinion.
like, oh yeah.
I did not hear like a
Wait
single.
your turn. Wait your turn.
Oh no. You know
Oh,
what?
I
I
thought
don't
this
know
was
if I
like a
agree
group
with that.
discussion.
I don't think
it's
I
a
agree with that.
one-on-one.
Okay, so-
You know what? Low part of the movie. I'm just gonna say like when Zapan ambushes Hugo.
Yeah.
That was done in a really weird way where it's weird to give Hugo still like being in the right
Mm-hmm.
when he's been stealing body parts from people.
Oh, I
It's
also
weird to like make him the
Yeah.
victim in this.
to like illustrate why Alita should have been R. You know, remember when they cut the guy in half? That's like nice for the manga.
Yeah.
Like that's like
That was like one of the only
yeah.
moments in the movie that it was like as violent as it happened in the manga.
Yeah, but like that wasn't even that violent for the manga. For the manga, that would have
Well,
been
in
like
the manga,
all right, cool.
in the manga, you're very desensitized to like seeing people's brains because it's
That's
a
another
huge
thing,
theme.
yeah.
And
let's
rating?
see.
I'm not done talking about this low.
All right, hit the low. Hit the
I
low.
didn't. So I didn't like the way that they did it with Zapan because in the movie or in the manga, it establishes Zapan as like kind of like a dickhead, but still mainly just being a hunter warrior,
Yeah.
and it establishes Hugo as like really desperate enough to like do bad things.
Yeah.
And in the movie, it was like it almost made Zapan's being a dick because he doesn't like Alita, and Hugo was a victim.
Yeah.
Right.
That's
And then
true.
and then for some reason he had to frame him for murder, even though he was already stealing body parts, which is a crime.
Right.
Yeah.
Overall,
I think
So-
that was part of the making him look like a victim thing,
yeah,
not conveying that was
Yeah.
already a crime.
which is weird.
Weird.
Overall, if I were to like recommend it to someone, I would say I would expect like everyone to come out, like most people come out thinking it was like a 7 or a 10, and then like if I like let personal bias get into it, I'd probably give it an 8 because it was good and it was Alita.
Yeah.
I like
my
Alita.
girl Gally.
Johnny, what
Me?
about you? High, low.
For
rating?
me, the highs were obviously the combat. Combat was so fucking cool. I liked most of the story, and I liked her as a character for
Yeah.
the most part. Besides like the cheesy fucking one-liners
Yeah,
and
yeah.
sometimes, but and for the lows, I didn't really care for the soundtrack because I didn't like. There's like and when I'm thinking of a soundtrack, I'm thinking like John Wick, and I'm just seeing like him fucking killing everyone in the
Yeah.
room, and he's just popping the fuck off. I didn't feel that in this. It was kind of just like. Okay, some jammers right now, but it's
Yeah.
not like, oh my fucking god, let's go. Like
Yeah.
it wasn't like a hype up.
Like it didn't
moment.
work. It didn't like augment
Add-
the movie.
add
Yeah,
to
it didn't add to it, which I was kind of
Yeah.
hoping for in
Yeah.
those
Where if-
situations.
If you can't name anything about the soundtrack, it's probably
Yeah.
a sign that it wasn't a good
Yeah.
soundtrack.
Yeah, because like
fair
I
enough.
couldn't. I like in my mind, I'm trying to think of like a moment in the show where I was like, oh, fucking, this was sick. Like this soundtrack was dope at this moment. I was feeling hyped. And then for I guess that's my high low, and then my rating. I guess I was gonna say like 6 or 7, because I'm going for more of the low end because the story just kind of felt skewed in this like kind of like butchered like.
Yeah.
It's kind of like a shish kebab kind of thing where it's kind of like, oh yeah, just kind of throw everything in there and see what goes and what
Yeah.
works.
I could see that, like, it getting confusing.
Yeah.
Without all the prior background
Yeah.
knowledge.
Yeah.
So like, and I'm usually a harder critic on this shit, so take that with a grain of salt. But
Okay.
What's about you, Bruno?
Highs. Yeah, everyone said choreography, and that's 100% what I was thinking.
Visuals.
The visuals are really, really well done. Character designs. But my other big point is the actual characterization. Like the characters themselves and their portrayal, like the acting, I thought was really well done. What's her name? Rosa Salazar or whatever? She did a great job making Alita seem like a little kid at times, but then when she's serious, she's about to fuck shit up. She's like a serious like a warrior, right? Which is a really big part of her character. And like I said, Hugo's character I thought was well done. Not as well done as Sid's saying, they make him to be a victim, which is a change. But if you portray him in that light, I thought he was good. Ito, I loved.
You know what?
They're like interactions
for the part that they gave Hugo, he's not as bad as possible because you don't get any of his backstory with his brother.
Yeah, that's true actually.
Which was
I totally forgot about that.
A part of establishing
and rating.
Well, I need to talk about the lows.
Oh.
Yeah. Lows, definitely dialogue. There were a lot of lines that were pretty cringy. The kiss scene comes to mind. There were one or two lines before fights or after fights that were really cheesy. But yeah, dialogue, I think that was the only thing where, like, while watching it, I was kind of like, yikes, that's not that cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's like really the only low I can name.
Okay.
Rating? Yeah, I think I said before, strong 7, light 8. I would personally, with my bias, I would give it an 8. Yeah. What about you?
For me personally, I think the highs of the movie were just, I really enjoyed kind of the story of Alita itself, going from like how she started to the end becoming like this super epic fighter or whatever. I thought that was really cool. And I think this movie did a very good job of having a strong female protagonist without going for the super let's get an Oscar because this is empowering females vibe. Like it was she was a good female protagonist without the movie self-proclaiming the fact that she's a female every 2 seconds.
Yeah, it felt like this movie
in that same regard, the inclusion of not just white people in the movie was very clearly there throughout the movie, but not in the same way patted on the back with the movie showing that. Right? Yeah. They just did it how it should be, and that's very
and they explained it really well
and acceptable, right?
They explained it really well. How it's like the culture's a mash of all kinds.
I also like it so that like she didn't always have to be freaking saved all the time, because like usually when it's a female protagonist, it's like, oh, the man are coming in to come save the day, and then that felt like, oh man, like gotta do that.
Yeah.
And then the low for me, the biggest like single point in the movie was like just like in terms of feeling was the kiss scene was just like horrible for me, the whole thing. The whole dialogue and the acting was just very forced. But in terms of like the movie as a whole, the ending was very much just like it felt like it was just thrown in. The bar was set here for the whole movie, and then the ending just really poorly done. And it just like you could have done a better job than that to finish off this movie.
You could have just cut the ending and it would have ended more satisfying.
Yeah, they could have cut it somewhere sooner than 2 years later. This is this or whatever.
Yeah, and that was almost like a sequels in the works ending.
Exactly, and then and they kind of pushed that, which I don't like, right? And then in terms of rating, I'd say for me personally, 8 out of 10. And if the ending had been better, I would have given it something higher in a few. Like it's very close to perfect. If the ending was good and a few minor points.
Yeah.
But 8 out of 10 for me, strong.
Yeah.
Okay, cool. Yeah.
Okay.
All right.
Thanks, everyone.
Yeah. That's, it.
Yeah.
Thanks for listening.